Hello everyone, welcome back to my regular schmegular channel. My name is Janice and I am not an influencer. Today I will be destroying resumes online. I have 3 resumes with me today that I found on the internet. Not real. I didn't want to destroy someone's ego and pride. I just pulled out some templates that I found that I thought would be a good use of reviewing. And they're all like varying degrees of experience in different industries. I myself am in the professional services. I've always studied finance and went into management consulting and now product management. So I've done a lot of resume reviews as well to help people in college also get jobs. So I've done a lot of these resume reviews and I'm just going to go through some of the top tips that I think would be helpful. Typically whenever someone asks me to, give feedback on their resume, I sometimes go a little too hard. I'll try not to be doing that today. So first up, we have Alejandra Arts. She's in the arts field. And she's going Iowa State University. I mean, so far it's fine. Like the actual look and feel of it, it's fine. I'm not a big fan stylistically of the whole shaded bar across, but it doesn't look bad. Everything is in line, right? You want to look for that. Make sure that everything, like your dates, all of that is aligned, all your bullets are aligned, and all of your formatting is correct. So all of the places that she's at, Iowa State University, Sigma Lambda Gamma, those are all bolded. And then the roles that she has is in italics. So I think that's fine. It looks really good. Clean. She's majoring in the performing arts, minoring in advertising. She has related coursework. I think that's relevant when you don't have that much experience. Like here, I don't see much work experience. I guess this is it. Let's go into her first work experience. So she's an arts and culture intern. Cool. Till August 2020. These tenses are in present tense. So I guess maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't use present tense unless it's to the present, like this says August 2020, which implies that she's no longer doing that or it's in the past. I would only use present tense for something that you're gonna say May 2020 to present. I actually like to have all the same tense on my resume. So even if it says up to present, I'll have everything in past tense because it is work that I have done already. Interview community artists for inclusion in the Dubuque Creative Economy Directory and GIS Cultural Asset Mapping Initiative with a focus on increasing the diversity of artists represented. That's interesting. So first thing I'll note is that is pretty good. And I would say include numbers. I think that whatever field you're in, you want to include the impact or the percentage sales, or maybe it's interviewed 50 community artists. It just shows the scale of what you've done and how much effort you put into it. I would love to see a little bit of results here. So here the focus or the intended outcome was increasing diversity of the artists represented. It would be interesting to see maybe with the focus on increasing the diversity of artists represented, leading to 20% increase in diverse backgrounds or something like that. It just shows hey, this thing that I did, this interview and the mapping that I did led to the outcome. Track and review applications for arts grants and city performances with attention to detail and equity. I'm not sure what equity means there. Would like some clarification on that. And then with attention to detail, Maybe it's kind of generic, honestly. I would probably be a little bit more specific on what you were focusing on. Maintain website, create social media content, write press releases for web and local newspaper, and photograph video events to ensure community awareness and access to events. I would love to see what the outcome was there. So if the intention was to increase community awareness and access to events, then I'd like to see, okay, how many people showed up, or how many incremental people showed up. You know, that would be something that I would like to see. Creating social media content. So a ton of people do this, right? Which platforms are you using? How are you creating this content? So even though a lot of people can put together social media content, it could really show your creative side. So maybe you're using different marketing tools, or maybe you're using design elements like Canva or even Photoshop, or going to those extents, and you can show, hey, I not only just posting things on Instagram, but I am actually creating this flyer by hand, and it's beautiful, you know? Then we have Bell Tower Theater, communications intern and acting camp instructor, promote kids take the stage theater camp via social media, advertising in local media and publications, and interactive assemblies at 11 elementary schools to increase enrollment by 12% over the previous year. That is the bullet that I think people should strive to write. Again, I think that should be past tense. Maybe that's my preference. I mean, like, all of Alejandra's tenses are in the right, except for one, but almost all of it was the same tense. Yeah, I would say that the only thing wrong here really is the tenses, but that first bullet in Bell Tower Theater hits it on the nail. She mentions what she did, where she did it at 11 elementary schools, and she includes numbers. And then she talked about what the outcome was. Now she has performances, which I guess is pretty unique for acting. Then she has leadership experience. Then she has work experience at the end. I honestly would combine arts administration experience with work experience, but I understand why she separated it, because she's trying to highlight the arts work at a higher degree. I know people who have worked service jobs like this as a barista, cashier, and in their interviews, they actually got asked questions about it, because it is a unique experience, you know, like, I don't have that experience, but certain people do. So it's interesting to see that, and that easily translates over to like stakeholder management skills. So I would not downplay any experiences like that unless your resume is full of other opportunities and experiences. Here it says complete cash and credit transaction and craft beverages for customers with a focus on customer satisfaction. Again, she's been doing this job for presumably over 5 years. She can go into detail on a weekly basis, like, how many customers do I see or do I interact with? How much is that in sales? You know, she can write that information because she knows what it is. And then here at the end, she has skills. So software is Adobe, Microsoft Office, Google Workspace, Hootsuite, MailChimp, WordPress, Wix. That's pretty good. This is overall a very good resume. Next up, we have Callie Communications. She is in the communications field, also at Iowa State. I think these templates are from Iowa State University. I personally like her resume format better. I think it's cleaner. This is the resume format that it's really similar to the one that I have. I think it just draws the eye better down the page, and it's not confusing. There's a statistic that recruiters will spend on average 7 seconds on a resume. So in that 7 seconds, you want to make a strong impression. And I waver between having a design on your resume or just keeping it very simple. It's up to you, I think, on how you want it. But in those 7 seconds, you want to showcase what your skills are and how it applies to the job. Journalism experience. She's a managing editor. Hire, train, and supervise editors. I would only include how many editors for scale. For a daily print, nice. It shows the cadence of which she's printing. And digital newspaper with a readership of 5,000 plus. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad that she included how many readers. Assist editor-in-chief with leading bi-weekly editor meetings to develop and assign story ideas to staff. Okay, that's fine. Oversee the content creation process from ideation through writing, editing, layouts, and publishing to ensure quality publication that is accurate, relevant, and meets deadlines. Yeah, I mean, that's a fine one. I think there's too many commas in it, maybe. I get that she's trying to go through the process of what she does, so that's like, I think that's okay. Maybe like the whole accurate, relevant, and meets deadlines can be summarized into better words. Managing editor, news columnist. Oh, so she's just writing what her like titles or roles have been throughout the years. So it shows promotions. Good. So you should order your resume from reverse chronological order. So if you have something, let's just do it by year. So if you have something 2020, 2021, 2022, you want to order 2022 at the top, 2021 right below it, and then 2020 at the bottom. Recruiters understand this is what she's most presently done, or he. Then within the bullet, you can do it however you like. I think it makes most sense to put your biggest achievements at the top. So it doesn't have to be in some sort of chronological or reverse chronological order. I think it makes more sense to do your top bullet as like the biggest impact you made, or like the biggest achievement. And then from there it goes in decreasing order like that, or decreasing priority. Omaha World Herald wrote 2 articles per week, specializing in local politics and business to keep the public informed of developing and ongoing topics of importance in the community. Maybe she could add there, like her reader base. Research article. Okay, so all of these are kind of like the same as the first work experience. She's just, really honing in on that. I think it's fine. The Valley News one, I'm not going to read, but I see a lot of numbers here and I like it. I think she does a good job at including numbers and the outcome in her bullets, which is very important. Leadership and involvement. Here is, I think, where she could probably dive a little bit deeper. Some people don't care about it, but when I look at resumes, I find it interesting to look at what sort of extracurriculars you're part of. It just shows you as a person. So she could talk about I guess it's pretty obvious what the Association for Women in Communication is, but what does she do? What do they do as an association? How has it improved her? Stuff like that. Journalism skills, so she has software here. She's got a lot of them. So yeah, I think this is a pretty stellar resume. I like that she has the tenses aligned in accordance to what time it is. So like the present was all present tense, and then everything in the past was in the past. So it was consistent, it's clean, and it's very clear what sort of work she's done and what the outcome was. So yeah, that was me destroying resumes from the internet. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.